Welcome to the Sunday service for the Unitarian Universalist Church of Pensacola. This is an edited version of our first live Zoom broadcast on October 18th. Welcome. And now Laura will light our chalice.
The Spirit of Water by Katie Gelfand. We light this chalice as a symbol of reunion. We reunite to share the flow of our hearts with one another. We gather together in ritual to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief, to guide one another through rapids of transformation, to rest together on ponds of stillness. Together, we honor the Spirit of Water in its many forms and its life-giving essence.
And that takes us into music for centering, which is Morning by Edward Grieg, played by Denise. So our service today is an ingathering, a time to reconnect, and recommit, committing to ideals and shared values that bring us together as a community of people faithful to our Unitarian Universalist heritage. It's a heritage that belongs to a people who bond with one another by covenant, not creed. We gather today reflecting on water as a symbol of connection. Water, essential to our survival, springs from the earth, connecting us in the most basic way to the life-giving force. As we hear some stories that were shared with us today, we reinforce our intention to build friendships that nurture and sustain us in times of need. Please join with me in the words of our church covenant.
Love is the spirit
of this church
and
And
service
service its
its
law.
law.
This is our
is our
covenant.
covenant to
To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And now Marylee has something to share with all of us.
And good morning again. The story that I'm going to tell this morning is titled Searching for Beauty. And I ask all the children and as many as adults as would like to get a cup of water. If you could find a cup of water and keep it close by. I'm going to be talking about the beauty of the world and everyone and everything in it. We're going to search for beauty. And we'll learn about a tree that it grew very tall and very beautiful. Now, another ask, find a living plant close by in your home or wherever you're sitting. Find a living plant that you can see. This is a game of I Spy, so are you getting hot, getting cold, getting close? All right. The tree in our story is called the Cedar of Lebanon. Many faiths have used a tree as a symbol of their life and their faith. The tree in our story grew very, very tall, and had a beautiful canopy. So it could allow birds to live in their branches and animals to live on the ground below. And it just, everybody just had a wonderful place to survive. And the tree grew so strong and so tall because it was close to a spring. So it had fresh water all the time and helped it to grow and helped it to take care of other life around it. It protected the beauty of the earth. Okay, let's water our plant. Can you water your plant? Give it a little drink. How does that taste? How does it taste for you to have a fresh drink of water? It really is something to cherish. When you're thirsty, you really appreciate that drink of water. It's nourishment. And after you've had a drink of water, you're just so happy, so happy. I don't know if I can make that noise loud enough, but wow, this is wonderful. Giving that plant a drink and giving to others what they need is the beauty of life. Thank you for water. Thank you for life. Now repeat after me. Thank you for water.
Thank you for water.
Thank you for life.
Thank you for life.
Help me,
Help me,
help you
help you
to give life to all
to give life to all
for the beauty of the earth.
for the beauty of the earth.
May it be so.
Thank you so much, Marylee, for that beautiful story. And we have that story told another way also. Somewhere here. Am I sharing my screen yet? No. No, I don't want to make it go in there.
Look to Assyria, once a Lebanon cedar. Branches, dense shade, towering height. It is top among the clouds. Springs nourished it, and deep waters made it grow tall. Their streams flowed around its base, sending their channels to all the trees in the countryside. So it towered high above every other tree of the field. Its boughs grew larger and its branches extended out, nourished by an abundance of water. All the birds of the air nested in its boughs. Under its branches, wild animals gave birth to their young. All the great nations thrived in its shade. It was majestic in its beauty, with its spreading boughs, its roots reaching deeply into an abundance of water.
So I told you that we would come to a time when you could speak into the chat, type in the chat. I know that we come with many joys and sorrows, anxieties, fears, and also things that we're celebrating at this time. Some of you are worried about family and friends in the wake of fires and hurricanes and disease raging across our land. And some are celebrating each small, wonderful thing that we discover in our lives, as Marylee pointed out, just the joy of life and the ability to nourish ourselves and one another. One of the ways that we nourish one another is by sharing our lives and our stories with each other. So at this moment, if you would like to click on where it says chat, we can talk to each other that way. On the side will come up and it says, should say to everyone. On mine, it comes up on the side and I can type a message. and hit the return key. And you should see where I wrote hello everyone. And so if you look at the bottom of that, where it says to everyone, right underneath, it should say type message here. And if there's something you want to say, you can put it in the chat. I'm going to read them, okay? From Laura King, please say a prayer in whatever manner for Brian Hake, who has been hospitalized for over a week and recently been transferred to the Mayo Clinic. He is not doing well. We will certainly hold Brian in our thoughts and prayers. And Penny says, good to see all of you. From Pam, Mark, Val, and Will to everyone. We got guinea pigs. It's a joy. Yay. Maybe you can show them to us on the screen at some point. You have to type it. I can't hear you. And from Marianne Hodges to everyone. Hi, everyone. Evie, did I say that right? Age 13 and I are both on. Yay. We are doing well. And this afternoon, we'll hike through Baldwin County's Bicentennial Park with the Girl Scout troop. Yay. Sounds great. From Pam, Mark, Val, and Will to everyone, I would like to pray for my mom and aunt who are grieving the loss of their husbands. Oh, very sad. I would also like to pray for our family as we consider a possible move. Okay, need to hear more about that later. We'll certainly be holding all of you in our prayers and thoughts. From Carol Hemme to everyone. Hi, everyone. 2 weeks ago, our family was blessed with another great granddaughter. Wonderful, wonderful. And from Lauren Ansaldo to everyone, holding poet Quincy Hull in our hearts upon the death of his father and sending happy birthday to Tori V on her 16th birthday. Thank you. And from Laura King, prayers for Pam's mom and aunt. And from Jill, Mary to everyone, good morning. River and I are here with you. He has a cold and is in the bath. Happy to be here with you all. And from the Levitts again, congrats to your great granddaughter, and so glad to see Jill and River with us today. From Lisa Noah, hi Lisa, good to see you both there. Celebrating being with UUCP for just over a year. It has been life-changing for Chris and I. Wonderful, welcome. And from Lori, hi Lisa and Chris, how are you doing? Well, we just found out. And I'm delighted to be here with my granddaughter, Ariane, who is my tech support this morning because she does this on remote school. And so she knows how to share a screen, which I've never done before today. So our many joys and sorrows. Lisa says, going to a big doctor appointment next week, possibly starting PT soon. Oh, yes, good. And I hope you're recovering from that. All right, I'll hold silence for just a few more seconds in case anybody thinks of anything they didn't get in there. Oh, I can't yawn. From Marcy, good morning all. Pleased to be with you all on this Zoom service. Technology has advantages. Peace and joy to everyone. Healing light to all who are ill. Thank you, Marcy. All right. We know always that there are joys and sorrows that we do not share. And so for all of those that are held in our hearts, we hold one another in our thoughts and in our hearts as well. One more from Pam and the family. It's a joy to be with you all this morning. So today is the day that we celebrate our ingathering, a sort of interesting ingathering as we try some new way to gather today. Recognizing, this kind of recognizes a part of the cycle of the seasons that we go through. And typically we're coming back from summer, which I guess it's sort of summer waning where you are. It's been really chilly here where I am in Huntsville the last few days. I'm missing being there and hoping to get back soon. And I think there's something about water that we connect with, because water, you know, it washes things clean, it refreshes, it connects, it cushions, but it can also, as we've seen recently, just sweep things away or cause a lot of destruction. And we can maybe flow along with the current, or we could try to fight it, but water is pretty strong when it really gets going. So today we come together as a way to reconnect, not because we have been traveling or vacationing as usual, but for sure our routines have changed and we have found different ways to be together and to be in touch with one another. Our annual water communion ceremony honors this coming together and the changes that we have in the cycles of our life and in our routines, that we are refreshed as we flow in this current of life, and we are also challenged and reconnected. We're challenged today to think about the message of who we are as Unitarian Universalists and what we have to offer the world. What purpose do we have in our existence and in our role as part of the human family? How do we draw strength from the spirit of life and love that sings in our heart and calls us to do justice? As we begin this new cycle in our life and in the life of the church, we may want to take a closer look at how we do what we do and how we bring ourselves together. You know, like water kind of meanders along gently sometimes like a little bubbling brook, and then it meets other lakes and streams and flows together with new power. If you've ever stood under a waterfall, like the one at the mountain, our camp and conference center, is powerful, powerful water when it comes down, and you just feel that rush, that energy that comes from it. So our coming together, whenever that is like these many bodies of water flowing together and to create something powerful and meaningful. So if you're new with us, I invite you to jump in the stream and find out where we're going together as we create and build and maybe cause a little erosion here and there as we enter interesting times in our lives as a country and as a people. Maybe we can do like water when it just keeps flowing over something constantly, and it smooths out the rough edges. Maybe we can bring people in this world together and smooth out some of those rough edges. So thank you for being here, and thanks to those of you who shared stories with us for today. I'm going to find that video that I made and tell you that the first part of it, please note, is a picture painted by our own Rob Pallme and a poem that he wrote that I'll be reading that fits just perfectly with what we're doing with this water communion. So let's see. Now I have to put it somewhere, don't I? Just share screen. of the water made, born from an ancient sea. Oceans are our commons, upon them we are free. Streams flowing from the mountains take us among the lands. Their waters give us sustenance and harvest from their sands. Though we have soiled our waters, thoughtless or for gain, our water flows regardless, refreshed by new-made rain. Waters from the highlands flow stone-tossed, fresh and white. Southern lowland streams flow brown, reflecting trees and light. Waters flow their unchecked course, making their natural rounds, until they wildly breach their shores and we restrict their bounds. Rivers flow to harbors, harbors bring us to the sea, where ships from ports around the world enrich both you and me. To all life, water's precious. It is what we cannot live without. Gold has lesser value, though many that may doubt. Sarah Stubbs shares this beautiful picture of B with her best friend in some water. Sarah points out how the concentric circles of the water embrace this pair of friends. Laura Keith King and her granddaughter build a beach house, and her grandson plays in soap bubbles. Dolly Berthelot reminds us that water has many faces, even from the same balcony, only one day apart, September 16th, 2020 and September 17th, 2020. She writes, my beloved Pensacola Bay during and just after Hurricane Sally slammed into our area. What a difference a day makes. Storms do pass, but do leave their mark. Note destroyed pier, and in the distance, cranes repairing the new Chaffee James Bridge, hit by one of the 22 runaway barges that were part of Sally's chaos and destructiveness. Emma, Mike, and Maeve Mulvaney are thankful that even during a pandemic, they can get to the beautiful and uncrowded beaches in Fort Pickens, where they can unwind, spend time in nature, and play like big kids again. Pam Levitt writes, this picture of our kids was taken last December at the lake I grew up on in Michigan. It is a special memory for us because they were celebrating the experience of being in snow at Christmas. It was also the last Christmas with my stepdad, their Grandpa Dave, so we really treasured that visit. Penny Featherstone writes, this is one example of myriad reasons why I remain on La Paz Street despite hurricanes. There are lessons every day, like how neighbors care for and look after one another in ordinary and extraordinary times. While our neighborhood still has heaps of debris, I'm reminded of the line from a Leonard Cohen song, Suzanne. She shows you where to look among the garbage and the flowers. Paula Montgomery sent a picture of a family reunion of a bunch of Montgomerys, she said. And she wrote, we were in North Carolina getting ready to go whitewater rafting. I'm standing on the front row. Bill is in the bus peeking out. On that adventure, our raft went over a rock and flipped me out into the very cold water. The guide noticed and picked me up and put me back in the raft before Bill even knew I was gone. On a hot summer day, Marylee and Jerry took a trip to Toccoa Falls. Not knowing what to expect, they were surprised by the beauty of this waterfall and discovered how cool and refreshing it was to stand near the water. No doubt also feeling refreshed by the water, here is the Ansaldo Satterwhite family at High Falls, North Carolina in March of 2020. Linda Cobb shared this picture, saying it was one of her favorites of Neil's on a cruise to Cozumel. She wrote, "He loved manatees, and I was glad he got the chance to experience this interaction." Trista writes, "Here is a picture of Chance with our Oregon hosts for the last month. Chance looks at the young man, who is 10 years older than him, as a big brother now. This is Umbrella Falls. It is a glacier-fed falls on Mount Hood. Chance and Colin were able to play in it and hop on rocks across it. It was one of C's favorite recent experiences related to water." Marianne sent these two pictures: watering sheep, watering Mary Ann. One of my favorite times of the day at the beach is when the sun hits just right and it looks like diamonds dancing on the water. So thank you to all of you who sent me pictures and stories. I enjoyed so much putting that together. You know, our church reflects the commitment that we make to its mission, and it lives through the generosity of ourselves, our generous spirits. So each Sunday, we give you an opportunity to flex that muscle of generosity. So while we listen to some music from Denise, I'll show the slide for how to text and give. So now we wanted to have an opportunity for you to greet one another in a smaller group than such a big group. It takes a long time for everybody to be able to say hello. So I'm going to let Trista figure out how to divide us up into small groups for just a few minutes to say hello, check in with each other, share a water story, or whatever you want to say to each other. It's free time.
Go ahead and make me host.
Yes.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. All right.
Did I do it?
Yes, you did. So it looks
Okay.
like we've got about 30 individuals. And if anyone wants, if we want to just go ahead and greet, do we still want to have sort of set up a time for each person? Or do you just want to just let free for all?
Let's say we're going to do it for 10 minutes and
Okay.
so
All right.
about 5 or 6 or whatever you think.
Okay. All right. So go ahead.
You can choose somebody to be a timekeeper. However you want to do this, you're all,
Okay.
I trust you.
Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and set up 5. We'll which will be, let's do 6 rooms because I think there's about 30 people with considering all the different individuals in each of the screens. All right, we'll see you back. It's not letting me choose the time, so I'm going to, I think I'll probably end up bringing you all back after it's done. All right, here we go.
So how was that? Good, good. In smaller groups, once in a while, we can talk more with each other a little bit. Before we close, I'm going to share with you, as we've been talking about the beauty of the earth, Laura Keith King singing For the Beauty of the Earth.
For the beauty of the earth. For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Yes, thank you, Laura. And thank you everybody that showed up. You can come back for coffee hour at 12:30 if you want. And thank you so much to Trista and Laura Keith King and Marylee.
Well, the water portion was wonderful, and thank you, Alice, for putting that together.
Thank you. That was a joy, and it felt so good to, like the stories that you all told me were so beautiful, and I just really enjoyed knowing those things about you and looking at the pictures and all. So, and I know that it's LGBTQ plus History Month, and last Sunday was Coming Out Day, so I wore my rainbow scarf in case you wondered. And it's got a chalice here, it's a standing on the side of love, on the side of love. So I have closing words. May the words that were spoken here today and the songs and music that we heard and the thoughts expressed fill our hearts with hope and courage in this coming week and in the times to come as we move through some challenging times. And let's get out and vote. And let's encourage other people to vote. And let's hold hope in our heart that we can make our way through whatever will be, because we have one another and we have a faith that sustains us. Go in peace.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, and
Nice to see everybody.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Good to see everybody.
You too. Bye.